G'day, I'm Alan Tudge. I was the class of 1988 here at Haileybury, and now I'm a Member of Parliament, the Federal Member for Aston, and as well as the Federal Minister for Human Services. I often refer, even in my public speeches, that I say that going to Haileybury was, in some respects, my real break in life. I grew up out in Pakenham with parents who had only just arrived in the country, and probably in those days would never have even dreamt that I'd be sitting where I am today. And my parents, I know, busted their guts to pay for me to come here, and it was life-changing because it gave me the experience, it probably gave me the confidence to go on and do other things, and from there I felt as if, listen, I can cut it with other people and take on other roles in the community. I was school captain in 1988, and to be honest, it was a fantastic honour at the time. It actually surprised me. I remember being at home and opening the letter, and it saying from Mr. Aikman, "I'm inviting you to be school captain," and I was just blown away, to be honest. But it was my first real leadership position that I've held, an important leadership position in the school, and then from there, of course, I held other leadership positions, and now I'm a Member of Parliament. So I certainly look back very fondly on that time and the experiences which I had and learned a great deal in the process. When I was in Year 12, I had a broad idea as to where I wanted to go, but didn't have a clear vision. I was probably in my second or third year of university studying law and had my first career crisis before I even had started my career, in terms of thinking that I didn't want to be a lawyer. And here I was, Year 3 or Year 2 into a 5-year degree. A good friend of mine had suggested that I should investigate some of the management consulting firms. And so I applied to them to do a summer internship, and then subsequently went and joined Boston Consulting Group straight out of university. It was always in the back of my mind that I might explore and go into politics down the track, and there was an opportunity to go and work with Brendan Nelson initially, and then with Alexander Downer. And I grabbed that opportunity, and it was in part to learn what it was like from the inside and to work with some very senior political leaders in Australia. And absolutely from that experience I thought, well, maybe I have got something to contribute here. And there was an opportunity to go up and work in far north Queensland, and in some respects it was a real break from some of the work that I had been doing, either in the corporate world or indeed in a relatively senior role in government. And that was to go and work with Noel Pearson up in far north Queensland. And Noel Pearson is perhaps Australia's leading Indigenous leader, a brilliant mind, a fantastic intellect. And I was inspired by some of his writing, some of his advocacy, and felt as if I had something to offer. And so I approached him to see whether or not I could make a contribution up there. I went up there for 3 years full time and working with him on his broader welfare reform agenda. I learnt a lot about, disadvantage in Australia at the acute level in some of those remote Indigenous communities. And I learnt a lot also about what it is that holds our societies together, because in some of these places they've got real societal breakdown, and kids aren't going to school, people have lost respect for the older people in the community, there's very little work, and if you don't have some of those key ingredients, it's very difficult to have a functional society. And some of those lessons and learnings I've taken into my role in politics now as well, and really provide a framework for how I think about some of the broader public policy questions. My wife Terry and I agreed together for me to run for the pre-selection in the first place. That's really the key moment where you have to decide whether or not you're willing to go through this and together. And the timing worked. She was willing to be part of the journey, and it's very much a team effort, this thing. It's you and your wife and family, as well as your broader support network. You simply can't do this job alone. The Minister for Human Services is responsible for the broader welfare system, certainly the operation of the Centrelink system, the Medicare system. I also have responsibilities for gambling policy and for some interesting initiatives such as this cashless welfare card trial, which I've been leading over the last couple of years. I still spend a lot of time in my electorate taking on roles there, leading local campaigns and local initiatives in my electorate, and doing the best I can to serve the individuals who come and see me and need assistance. I feel as if I can really make a contribution both at the local level as well as nationally. And I'm in a very privileged position in some respects where I get to see so much of Australian life from the top end of town to all of the fantastic work which has been done at the grassroots level, at a local soup kitchen or local community groups which are maybe sort of unheralded, don't have much profile, but are changing people's lives at that local level. And there's not many positions in society where you get to see that full cross-section of Australian society, and that's a real privilege which I have. I often reflect upon school teachers generally, and I do so even now in my present role as a public policy maker. And you reflect that really you spend more time with your school teachers than possibly you do even with your own parents. And certainly outside of your parents, they're often the greatest influence on you as a young person becoming an adult. We certainly had some great teachers here at Haileybury, and they of course had a very important role in shaping who I am as an individual and to getting to where I am today.